Hi, welcome to Apex Atlas. Today we take a look into Japan. Japan is a land where the ancient and the modern exist side by side, a country of delicate contrasts and timeless harmony. One moment, you're standing beneath the soft pink clouds of cherry blossoms, watching petals drift like snow through temple gardens. The next, you're gliding past neon skylines, bullet trains flashing through the night. This is a place that celebrates both silence and speed. In Kyoto, the hush of a Zen garden invites reflection, while in Tokyo, the hum of life feels electric, a rhythm of progress and precision. Yet beneath all the modern wonder, Japan's heart beats to a centuries-old cadence of respect, artistry, and grace. From the snow-covered peaks of Hokkaido to the tropical shores of Okinawa, Japan's landscapes are as diverse as its culture. Ancient castles rise beside forests of bamboo, sacred shrines stand quietly among skyscrapers, and every region offers its own flavors, traditions, and festivals. But what makes Japan unforgettable isn't just its beauty, it's its spirit. The art of omotenashi, or wholehearted hospitality, can be felt in every bow, every meal served with care, every moment of thoughtfulness that makes visitors feel seen and welcomed. Life here is a dance of discipline and creativity, order and imagination. To travel through Japan is to experience serenity in motion, a country that never rushes, yet never stands still. It's where the smallest details tell the greatest stories, and where every encounter feels like part of something deeper. Locations and borders. Japan stretches across the edge of the Pacific like a delicate brushstroke, a long, graceful chain of islands shaped by sea, wind, and ancient fire. Set on the eastern rim of Asia, it feels both close to the continent and wonderfully apart from it, a world defined by its own rhythm and traditions. The country is made up of four main islands: Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, each with its own landscapes and character, along with thousands of smaller islands scattered like jewels across the ocean. To the west lies the vastness of Asia, with China, Korea, and Russia only a ferry ride or short flight away. Yet Japan's identity has been sculpted by the sea, which has both protected it and connected it to the world for centuries. Japan sits along the Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates meet and mountains rise sharp and dramatic. This is a land that lives with earthquakes, hot springs, and volcanoes, and has learned to find beauty in them. The mountains form the spine of the nation, dividing snowy northern plains from warm southern shores, shaping travel, climate, and culture. To travel across Japan is to feel how geography has shaped history. Coastlines that nurtured ancient fishing villages, narrow valleys that cradled samurai towns, and deep harbors where modern cities now gleam with glass and light. Japan's borders are drawn not by fences or walls, but by the sea, a shimmering boundary that has shaped its resilience, creativity, and quiet strength. Landscapes and regions. Japan is a country of breathtaking variety, a place where ancient forests, neon cities, volcanic peaks, and tropical shores all belong to the same story. Every region feels like a different chapter, shaped by geography, culture, and the quiet rhythms of daily life. Traveling across Japan is a journey through climates, colors, and centuries of tradition. In the north, Hokkaido stretches wide and wild. Winters here are deep and sparkling, transforming the island into a snow-draped wonderland where hot springs steam beneath icy skies. Summer brings open fields of lavender, rolling meadows, and untouched wilderness. Hokkaido feels pure and spacious, Japan's northern frontier. Travel south to Honshu, the main island, and you meet Japan's dramatic heart. The Japanese Alps carve through the center, hiding villages where timber houses stand beside steaming onsen baths. And rising above them all is Mount Fuji, its perfect volcanic cone reflected in the stillness of surrounding lakes. Honshu holds the contrasts that define Japan, the futuristic skyline of Tokyo, the timeless tranquility of Kyoto, the sacred forests of Nara, and the rugged coastal cliffs of Tohoku. Across the bridge from Honshu lies Shikoku, a peaceful island woven with pilgrimage paths. Here, the famous 88 temple route winds through forests, villages, and mountains, inviting travelers into a world of reflection and ancient rituals. It's a region where time moves slowly, guided by temple bells and gentle sea breezes. Farther southwest sits Kyushu, the island of fire and water. Known for its active volcanoes, warm climate, and countless hot springs, Kyushu blends natural drama with friendly, relaxed culture. Steam rises from the earth in Beppu, rivers glow beneath autumn leaves, and cities like Fukuoka mix tradition with vibrant energy. And then, at Japan's southernmost edge, the Okinawa Islands shimmer in turquoise seas. With coral reefs, white beaches, and a subtropical climate, they feel almost like another world, a place where Japanese heritage blends with the unique Ryukyu culture of dance, music, and gentle island living. Japan's landscapes are as varied as its people, from snowy wilderness to desert-like dunes, from bamboo groves whispering in the wind to warm shores glowing beneath southern sun. Every region has its own voice, its own rhythm, its own magic. Climate and seasons. Japan's seasons are more than changes in weather. They are moments of poetry, each one shaping the rhythm of daily life. To travel through Japan is to move through 4 distinct worlds, each with its own colors, flavors, festivals, and emotions. Spring arrives like a soft sigh, drifting in on gentle breezes and clouds of cherry blossoms. Across parks, temples, and riverbanks, pale pink petals fall like snow, turning even the busiest cities into dreamlike landscapes. Hanami, the tradition of gathering beneath the blossoms, fills Japan with picnics, laughter, and a sense of fleeting beauty. Spring is delicate, hopeful, and utterly enchanting. Summer bursts in with energy. Heat and humidity settle over the cities, while fireworks festivals light up the night sky. In rural regions, rice paddies shimmer under blue skies, cicadas sing from the trees, and mountain trails offer cooler escapes. Down in Okinawa, turquoise seas and white sand beaches turn summer into a tropical paradise. Autumn is a season of deep color and quiet reflection. As the air cools, mountains and valleys transform into brilliant shades of crimson, gold, and amber. Maple-lined temples in Kyoto, forested slopes in Nikko, and ginkgo-lined avenues in Tokyo become glowing tapestries. Autumn in Japan feels thoughtful, a time for tea, warm meals, and long walks beneath the changing leaves. Winter paints Japan in shades of white and blue. Snow blankets Hokkaido and the northern regions, turning them into wonderlands of ice festivals, ski resorts, and hot springs steaming in the cold air. Even cities like Tokyo feel calmer, wrapped in crisp winter light. In the mountains, traditional inns offer warmth, silence, and the comfort of a soothing onsen bath. Japan's climate is as varied as its landscapes, shifting from subarctic cold in the north to subtropical warmth in the south. But wherever you go, each season brings its own beauty, a reminder that in Japan, nature isn't just scenery. It's a living part of the culture. Wildlife and biodiversity. Japan's wildlife feels like a glimpse into an ancient story, one where mountains, forests, and seas have shaped the creatures that live within them. From snow-covered wilderness to subtropical coral reefs, the country's biodiversity is layered, surprising, and deeply connected to tradition and folklore. In the north, Hokkaido's wide-open landscapes are home to hardy animals shaped by long winters. Here you may see the elegant red-crowned crane, a symbol of longevity, dancing gracefully across snowy fields. Brown bears roam the dense forests, while foxes slip silently between the trees. Along the coast, seals rest on icy shores, and drift ice draws in unique Arctic marine life. Across Honshu's mountains, forests hide creatures both familiar and mysterious. The Japanese macaque, known as the snow monkey, is perhaps the most iconic, famous for soaking in hot springs as steam curls into the frosty air. Serow, deer, and shy Asiatic black bears wander through the deep woodlands, while giant hornets and fireflies glow through summer nights like sparks of living light. Japan's rivers and lakes shimmer with life, including koi, freshwater trout, and salmon that journey upstream each year. Traditional fishing methods, some thousands of years old, still survive in certain regions, blending culture with ecology. Further south, the islands transform again. Okinawa and the Ryukyu archipelago are rich with coral reefs, sea turtles, colorful fish, and tropical birds. These waters are some of the most biodiverse in the world, shaped by warm currents and protected marine reserves. Forests cover much of Japan, offering shelter to countless species of insects, birds, and mammals. Bamboo groves whisper with the movement of hidden creatures, and coastal waters shift from cold northern seas to warm southern tropics, supporting an extraordinary range of life rarely found in one country. Japan's wildlife is more than nature, it's part of its mythology. Cranes symbolize luck, foxes are believed to be messengers of the gods, and turtles represent long life. Even today, animals hold a quiet place in Japanese imagination, reminders of the power, mystery, and harmony of the natural world. Natural wonders. Japan is a land shaped by fire, water, and time, a country where nature reveals itself in ways that feel both ancient and otherworldly. From volcanic peaks rising through mist to emerald forests untouched for thousands of years, Japan's natural wonders are not just beautiful, they are deeply spiritual, woven into mythology and everyday life. Begin in the shadow of Mount Fuji, perhaps the most iconic natural symbol in Japan. Its perfect cone rises above lakes that mirror every color of the sky, soft pink at dawn, deep blue at midday, golden at sunset. Standing before Fuji feels like stepping into a painting where silence carries its own gravity. Far to the north, Hokkaido holds a wilderness unlike anywhere else in Japan. In winter, drift ice floats along the coast, transforming the sea into a frozen tapestry. In summer, wildflower meadows, volcanic calderas, and crystal blue lakes shimmer under endless skies. The dramatic beauty of places like Shikoku Peninsula, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, makes you feel wonderfully small. Journey into the heart of Japan and discover the Japanese Alps, where steep ridges carve deep valleys filled with ancient cedar trees, wooden inns, and steaming hot springs. Trails wind past waterfalls, pristine rivers, and mountain temples that have stood for centuries. Here, nature and tradition breathe in rhythm. In the south, the land becomes subtropical. Yakushima, an island draped in moss and mist, feels like a living fairy tale. Home to thousand-year-old cedar trees and forests so lush they inspired Studio Ghibli's Princess Mononoke, this island is a sanctuary of pure, untouched nature. Rain falls often, but it only makes the greenery glow brighter. Finally, venture to the Okinawa Islands, where coral reefs shimmer beneath transparent waters and limestone caves hide secret underground rivers. Beaches curve like white ribbons along turquoise seas, offering a softer, warmer side of Japan, peaceful, gentle, and sunlit. Japan's natural wonders are more than destinations. They are reminders of how closely the Japanese people live with the forces of nature, respecting, adapting, and finding beauty in every season and every landscape. National parks and reserves. Japan's national parks are gateways into a world where nature, culture, and spirituality intertwine. These protected landscapes feel like open-air temples, places where mountains stand like guardians, ancient forests whisper with age, and clear waters flow with quiet purpose. To wander through Japan's parks is to understand the deep respect the country holds for the natural world. Begin your journey in Shikoku National Park, one of Japan's wildest and most remote regions. Here, waterfalls tumble into the sea, brown bears roam dense forests, and drift ice sweeps across the coast in winter. Shikoku's untouched beauty has earned it UNESCO World Heritage status, a sanctuary where nature remains powerful and free. In central Honshu, Chubu-Sangaku National Park protects the towering Japanese Alps. Rugged peaks rise above valleys filled with steaming hot springs, alpine meadows, and crystal-clear rivers. Trails wind past ancient shrines and wooden mountain huts, making the landscape feel as spiritual as it is dramatic. Near Tokyo, Nikko National Park blends natural beauty with deep cultural heritage. Misty waterfalls, sacred cedar forests, and volcanic lakes surround ornate temples and shrines that have stood for centuries. It's a rare place where nature and architecture feel like parts of the same soul. Further south, Kumano-Kodo, a network of ancient pilgrimage routes, leads through mountains covered in moss and quiet villages. Though not a traditional park, its landscapes are protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and offer some of the most meaningful walks in Japan. Every step feels like a connection to the past. In the subtropical far south, Kerama-Shoto National Park wraps around turquoise waters and coral reefs teeming with marine life. Sea turtles glide through the currents, while colorful fish shimmer beneath the surface. Here, nature feels soft, warm, and full of life, a beautiful contrast to Japan's snowy north. And on the mystical island of Yakushima, dense forests shelter cedar trees that have lived for millennia. The island's thick moss, ancient roots, and swirling mist create a world that feels untouched by time, earning it a place among Japan's most treasured natural reserves. Japan's national parks aren't just landscapes, they are living stories. Each one reflects a different part of Japan's identity, from its volcanic heart and sacred mountains to its coral seas and ancient forests. Mountains and hiking routes. Japan is a country shaped by mountains, a place where peaks rise like ancient guardians and trails wind through forests that feel older than memory itself. To hike here is to walk through living history, where nature, spirituality, and tradition meet on quiet paths and sacred summits. The most iconic of all is Mount Fuji, its perfect silhouette known around the world. Climbing Fuji is more than a physical journey, it's a pilgrimage. As dawn breaks from the summit, an experience locals call Goreiko, the arrival of light, the world glows in soft gold, and it feels as though the sun is rising just for you. Beyond Fuji, the Japanese Alps offer some of the country's most dramatic mountain landscapes. The Northern Alps, with peaks like Hotoka and Yarrigatake, are rugged and wild, drawing experienced hikers who traverse knife-edge ridges and alpine meadows. The Southern Alps provide quieter trails, passing forests, rivers, and high mountain huts that feel like comforting refuges in the clouds. For those seeking gentler paths, Mount Takao near Tokyo is a beloved favorite. Just an hour from the city, it offers peaceful forest trails, temples tucked into the hillside, and sweeping views toward Mount Fuji on clear days. Despite its accessibility, Takao holds a deeply spiritual presence, attracting millions each year. In the Kansai region, the ancient Kumano-Kodo pilgrimage routes wind through cedar forests, stone steps, and sacred shrines. These trails have been walked for over 1,000 years by emperors, monks, and travelers seeking clarity and peace. Every step feels meditative, a journey inward as much as outward. Farther north, Daisetsuzan National Park in Hokkaido is a world of volcanic ridges, hot springs, and open wilderness. Bears roam freely, flowers bloom in high meadows, and the air carries a cool northern purity. It's a place where hikers can feel truly connected to nature, far from the rush of modern life. Whether you're climbing a challenging peak or following a soft forest path, Japan's mountains offer a quiet kind of magic, one found not just in the views, but in the stillness between steps. Rivers and lakes. Japan's rivers and lakes flow like quiet lifelines through the landscape, shimmering pathways that shape culture, nourish nature, and create some of the country's most unforgettable scenery. Their presence is gentle but powerful, offering moments of stillness in a land where mountains and cities rise with dramatic energy. In the high valleys of the Japanese Alps, the Aizawa River glides through Kawamochi with water so clear it seems impossible. Surrounded by towering peaks and dense forests, the river reflects clouds and cedar trees like a polished mirror. At dawn, when mist hovers above its surface and the mountains glow softly in the first light, Kawamochi feels like a sacred place untouched by time. To the west, Lake Biwa, Japan's largest and oldest lake, spreads out like an inland sea. Over 4 million years old, it supports rare fish, wetlands, and villages that have thrived along its shores for centuries. Temples sit on nearby hillsides, fishermen cast nets in the early morning, and ferries glide quietly across the water. Biwa's size and serenity make it one of Japan's great natural treasures. At the foot of Mount Fuji lies the beloved Fuji Five Lakes, Kawaguchi, Yamanoka, Saiko, Shoji, and Mitosu. Each one offers a different reflection of Fuji's perfect cone, sometimes crisp and blue, sometimes framed with cherry blossoms, sometimes glowing red during autumn's fiery evenings. Lake Mitosu, the deepest of them all, is the image featured on Japan's 1,000 yen note, its water so clear it turns Fuji into a flawless reflection. In the north, Lake Marshu in Hokkaido is famous for its impossibly clear, deep blue water and the thick fog that often drapes over it like a veil. Locals call it Foggy Lake, but when the mist lifts, Marshu reveals a mysterious beauty unmatched anywhere else in Japan. Rivers like the Kizo, Shinano, and Kitakami cut through valleys and cities, their currents carrying stories of trade, travel, and life. In many towns, summer brings fireworks festivals along their banks, turning the water into a ribbon of shimmering color. Japan's rivers and lakes aren't just bodies of water, they're places of reflection, culture, and quiet wonder. Each one offers a different view of the country's soul, peaceful, poetic, and deeply connected to the land. Caving and underground worlds. Japan's underground landscapes feel like secret chapters hidden beneath the surface. Deep caverns carved by water and time, glowing pools of impossibly blue water, and volcanic passages shaped by the Earth's fiery heart. Exploring these caves is like stepping into another world, silent and ancient, where nature reveals its artistry in stone. In Yamaguchi Prefecture, Akiyoshido Cave stretches beneath Asia's largest limestone plateau. Inside, vast chambers soar like natural cathedrals, filled with terraces of mineral pools, shimmering walls, and waterfalls that echo softly in the darkness. Wooden walkways guide you along underground rivers that twist through the cave, illuminated in gentle light. It's a place of wonder, cool, quiet, and breathtakingly grand. Further north in Iwate, Ryusendo Cave hides some of Japan's clearest underground lakes. Their water is so transparent it appears bottomless, glowing a deep sapphire blue under the cave lights. Explorers have mapped over 3,600 meters of passageway here, though the true depths remain a mystery. The silence inside Ryusendo feels almost sacred, like the cave is holding its secrets close. In Omori Prefecture, Lake Towada's volcanic origins have created networks of lava tubes and smaller caves around the surrounding caldera. These formations offer a glimpse into the region's fiery past, where molten rock once carved tunnels beneath the forests and mountains. On the subtropical island of Okinawa, the landscape changes once again. Gyokasendo Cave, part of a vast underground network, winds through limestone chambers dripping with thousands of delicate stalactites. The air is warm and humid, the rock formations glowing under soft lights, and underground pools shimmer like liquid glass. Okinawa's caves feel almost tropical, lush, warm, and full of hidden beauty. Japan's underground worlds are not just geological wonders, they are reminders of how nature shapes the land from below. These caves invite travelers into a realm where time slows, sound softens, and the earth reveals its deepest secrets. Festivals and celebrations. Japan's festivals feel like windows into the country's soul, bursts of color, sound, and tradition that light up entire towns and carry centuries of history through modern streets. They are moments when communities gather, spirits are honored, and the rhythm of life shifts into something bright and unforgettable. One of the most iconic is Hanami, the cherry blossom celebration. Each spring, families and friends spread blankets beneath blooming sakura trees, sharing food, laughter, and the fleeting beauty of petals drifting in the breeze. For a few precious days, parks glow pink, and all of Japan slows down to admire nature's soft, poetic magic. In Kyoto, time seems to unwind during Gion Matsuri, one of Japan's oldest and grandest festivals. Towering wooden floats, built without a single nail, roll through the city like moving temples, accompanied by music, lanterns, and crowds dressed in colorful yukata. It is a celebration that has lasted for over 1,000 years, a living thread connecting modern Kyoto to its ancient roots. Up north, the snowy city of Omori bursts into flame and color during the Nobuta Matsuri, where enormous illuminated warrior floats are paraded through the night. Drumming fills the air, dancers leap and shout encouragement, and lantern-lit faces glow beneath the sparks. It is wild, joyful, and unmistakably northern. Winter brings Sapporo Snow Festival, transforming Hokkaido into a glittering world of giant ice sculptures, frozen castles, and illuminated snow streets. Even in the deep cold, the city becomes a playground of creativity and light. On the opposite side of the calendar, and the climate, the Obon Festival in August honors ancestors with lanterns, dancing, and quiet reflection. In many regions, lanterns are floated down rivers or set out to guide the spirits home. Obon is soft, warm, and deeply emotional, a celebration of memory and connection. From thunderous drum festivals to serene lantern ceremonies, from snow sculptures to summer fireworks that paint the sky above rivers and seas, Japan's celebrations reveal a country filled with beauty, devotion, and joy. Food and drink. Japanese cuisine is more than a collection of dishes. It is an expression of harmony, seasonality, and quiet elegance. Every meal feels intentional, shaped by centuries of tradition and a deep respect for ingredients, craftsmanship, and beauty. To taste Japan is to taste its landscapes, its rituals, and its way of life. In bustling cities like Tokyo and Osaka, food becomes an adventure. Wander through glowing streets lined with ramen shops where rich broth simmers for hours, or tiny sushi counters where master chefs shape each piece with careful precision. Whether you try melt-in-your-mouth toro, hand-rolled mochi, or a humble bowl of miso soup, the flavors are clean, balanced, and deeply comforting. Travel into the countryside and the rhythm of food slows down. In mountain inns, you'll be served kaiseki, a traditional multi-course meal that celebrates the season. Tiny plates, each one like a work of art, arrive in delicate order: fresh sashimi, simmered vegetables, grilled fish, foraged herbs, and soups infused with subtle flavors. Kaiseki isn't just a meal, it's an experience of mindful eating. On the streets, Japan's casual food culture is equally irresistible. Try crispy takoyaki in Osaka, savory okonomiyaki hot from the grill, yakitori skewers sizzling beside lantern-lit stalls, or sweet taiyaki filled with warm red bean paste. Every region has its specialty, from Hokkaido's rich dairy and seafood to Kyushu's spicy tonkotsu ramen. Don't forget Japan's drinks, each with their own story. Matcha, whisked to a vibrant green froth, carries the quiet ritual of the tea ceremony. Sake, brewed from rice and pure water, ranges from delicate and floral to rich and warming. And in the mountains of Nagano or the bars of Tokyo, you'll find some of the world's finest whiskey, smooth and meticulous. Even everyday meals, a bento box at a station, fresh fruit from a market, or onigiri wrapped in crisp seaweed, reflect Japan's love of detail and balance. Eating here is a celebration of simplicity, craftsmanship, and the joy of sharing flavors with others. Arts and music. Japanese art and music feel like reflections of the country's soul, delicate, expressive, and shaped by a deep appreciation for beauty in its simplest forms. From ancient brushstrokes to futuristic pop beats, Japan's creative spirit blends tradition and innovation in a way that feels both timeless and constantly evolving. Begin in the world of traditional arts, where every gesture holds meaning. In a quiet tatami room, a calligrapher guides ink across rice paper with slow, deliberate strokes. The result, a single character, carries emotion, balance, and a lifetime of practice. Nearby, in sunlit workshops, artisans shape ceramics, lacquerware, and textiles using methods passed down through generations. These crafts aren't simply made, they are experienced, each one a harmony of patience and skill. In the theater, tradition comes alive. No, with its carved masks and hypnotic movements, feels like watching living poetry, slow, symbolic, and rich with history. Kabuki, by contrast, bursts with color, dramatic makeup, and energetic storytelling. And the doll-like precision of bunraku puppetry reveals a level of artistry so refined that a single gesture can convey an entire emotion. Japan's modern arts are just as captivating. Walk through Tokyo's museums and you'll find bold contemporary installations, manga illustrations that have become global icons, and photography that captures the quiet intimacy of everyday life. Anime, a cultural phenomenon, blends art, storytelling, and imagination, bringing worlds to life with vibrant detail. Music in Japan carries the same duality. Traditional instruments like the koto, shamisen, and taiko drums echo with old-world beauty. Their sounds, soft plucks, deep vibrations, and thunderous rhythms, evoke landscapes, myths, and ceremonies that have shaped the culture for centuries. Then there is modern music, J-pop's bright melodies, rock bands playing in tiny basement venues, lo-fi beats drifting from cafes, and orchestral performances that fill grand concert halls. Japan's music scene is diverse and endlessly creative, a place where old and new coexist effortlessly. Whether it's a hand-painted fan, a drumbeat echoing across a festival, a manga sketch, or a quiet tea ceremony performance, Japanese art and music show how beauty is found not just in grand gestures, but in small, thoughtful moments. Clothing and fashion. Japanese clothing is a reflection of the country itself, graceful, expressive, and full of meaning. Whether it's the flowing silhouette of a traditional kimono or the bold individuality of street fashion in Tokyo, clothing in Japan tells stories about identity, artistry, and the balance between old and new. At the heart of traditional dress is the kimono, a garment that feels more like a piece of art than clothing. Wrapped carefully around the body and secured with an ornate obi, a kimono changes with the seasons, light colors and floral patterns in spring, cool fabrics in summer, deep hues in autumn, and rich, warm tones in winter. Every design carries symbolism: cherry blossoms for renewal, cranes for longevity, waves for strength. Wearing a kimono isn't just getting dressed, it's stepping into a living tradition. In more formal settings, you may see the hakama, a pleated garment worn over kimono, or the hari, a flowing jacket often embroidered with delicate designs. During festivals, people slip into colorful yukata, lightweight summer robes that fill the streets with movement and brightness. Lanterns glow, fireworks crackle, and the soft swish of fabric adds to the celebration. But Japan's fashion story doesn't stop at tradition. In places like Harajuku, Shibuya, and Osaka's Amerikamura, creativity thrives in every color and texture imaginable. Young designers mix vintage kimono fabrics with modern silhouettes, while others create bold, avant-garde looks that feel like wearable art. Layers, color pops, oversized shapes, and detailed accessories come together to create styles that are playful, fearless, and distinctly Japanese. Meanwhile, Japan has become a global leader in minimalist and refined fashion. Brands inspired by wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection and simplicity, create clothing that is soft, understated, and beautifully made. Clean lines, natural materials, and thoughtful design are central to this modern aesthetic, offering a calming balance to the busyness of everyday life. From ancient robes to experimental streetwear, from handcrafted textiles to sleek contemporary design, Japanese fashion blends memory and imagination. Every outfit becomes a statement, sometimes subtle, sometimes bold, but always carrying a quiet sense of artistry. Language and literature. Language in Japan is more than a means of communication. It is an art form, a bridge to tradition, and a reflection of the nation's grace and subtlety. From the elegant sweep of calligraphy brushes to the rhythmic beauty of poetry, Japan's literary heritage invites readers into a world where meaning often lies between the lines. At the heart of Japanese language is Nihongo, expressed through three writing systems: hiragana, soft and flowing; katakana, sharp and modern; and kanji, characters borrowed from ancient China, each carrying layers of history. Together, they create a script that is both functional and artistic, a mosaic of symbols that can convey entire ideas in a single character. Spoken Japanese, with its gentle tones and respectful nuances, reflects a culture deeply rooted in harmony and consideration. Literature in Japan stretches back more than 1,000 years. One of its earliest and most celebrated works is the Tale of Genji, written by Murasaki Shikibu in the 11th century. Often considered the world's first novel, it tells the story of courtly life, love, and longing with lyrical beauty. Its pages reveal a world illuminated by moonlight, poetry, and delicate emotion. Poetry has always held a special place in Japanese culture. The haiku, with its simple structure of 17 syllables, captures entire worlds in just a few words. Masters like Matsu Basho transformed observations of nature into moments of profound insight. The rustle of leaves, a frog jumping into an old pond, snow falling silently on a village. Each poem is a breath of clarity. In the modern era, authors like Natsume Soseki, Yasunari Kawabata, and Haruki Murakami have carried Japanese literature to the world stage, blending realism, nostalgia, and dreamlike imagination. Whether exploring the quiet loneliness of city life or weaving surreal tales filled with mystery, their works continue to shape contemporary storytelling. Beyond books, language thrives in manga, anime scripts, film dialogue, and the poetic phrases spoken in daily life. Even the simplest expressions carry echoes of culture, greetings tied to seasons, gratitude woven deeply into speech, and phrases that feel like small gifts of respect. Language and literature in Japan remind us that beauty can be simple, subtle, and deeply felt, a gentle whisper rather than a shout. Religion and spiritual life. Japan's spiritual landscape is gentle, subtle, and woven deeply into everyday life. Rather than a single belief system, it is a harmonious blend of traditions, a quiet coexistence of Shinto and Buddhism, where natural spirits, ancient rituals, and thoughtful reflection shape the rhythm of society. Shinto, Japan's indigenous belief, is a faith rooted in nature. Mountains, rivers, trees, and even the wind are believed to hold kami, sacred spirits that guide and protect. Visiting a Shinto shrine feels like stepping into a calm, timeless world. Stone torii gates mark the transition from the ordinary to the sacred. Gravel paths lead through forests, past lanterns and water basins where visitors cleanse their hands in gentle ritual. The air feels hushed, alive with respect and reverence. Alongside Shinto stands Buddhism, introduced from Asia over 1,000 years ago. Its temples, often filled with incense and soft chanting, offer a sense of reflection and inner stillness. The majestic wooden halls of Nara, the Golden Pavilion in Kyoto, and Zen gardens brushed into perfect patterns all invite meditation and mindful presence. In these spaces, time slows and thoughts settle like falling leaves. Many Japanese people blend both traditions naturally, praying at Shinto shrines for good fortune, visiting Buddhist temples to honor ancestors, and celebrating seasonal events that draw from both worlds. Religion here is less about doctrine and more about harmony, gratitude, and connection. Spiritual life in Japan also appears in unexpected places. It lives in the tea ceremony, where every gesture is deliberate and meaningful. It whispers through haiku poetry, capturing fleeting moments of beauty. It's found in ancient pilgrimage routes like Kumano-Kodo and in practices like forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku, where walking slowly through trees becomes a healing ritual. Even in modern cities, spirituality touches daily life. In New Year shrine visits, protective charms tied to school bags, and festivals that honor the changing seasons. Japan's spirit is quiet, but it is everywhere, flowing through mountain temples, coastal shrines, and the peaceful spaces between. Customs and etiquette. Japan is a country where everyday interactions feel graceful, thoughtful, and quietly respectful. Customs and etiquette shape not only how people greet one another but also how they eat, travel, and move through the world. As a visitor, experiencing these gentle traditions makes the journey richer and more meaningful. The first thing you'll notice is the bow, a gesture of respect used in greetings, thanks, apologies, and farewells. A slight bow is common in casual situations, while deeper bows show greater sincerity. It feels natural after a few days in Japan, a calm and humble way to connect with others. Inside homes, temples, and some traditional restaurants, you'll be asked to remove your shoes. Soft slippers or socks replace outdoor footwear, keeping the space clean and honoring the idea that the home is a peaceful sanctuary. Tatami rooms require bare feet or socks only. The woven mats are treated with great care. Dining in Japan has its own quiet rhythm. Before eating, people say itadakimasu, expressing gratitude for the meal. After finishing, they say gochisu sama deshita, thanking the person who prepared it. Chopstick etiquette is taken seriously. Never point with them, stand them upright in rice, or pass food from chopstick to chopstick. These actions hold funerary associations and are considered impolite. On trains and buses, silence is part of the culture. Public transport is treated as a shared, peaceful space, where phone calls are avoided and conversations kept soft. Even in the busiest cities, this sense of order creates an unexpected calm. Gift-giving, called omiyage, is another cherished custom. Whether returning from a trip or visiting someone's home, it's common to offer small, thoughtful gifts, beautifully packaged snacks, sweets, or regional specialties. It's not the size of the gift that matters, but the kindness behind it. Even simple acts carry meaning. Queuing is done patiently and neatly. Trash bins are rare, so people often carry their rubbish home. Politeness is woven into language, gestures, and everyday behavior, creating an atmosphere of smooth, harmonious living. To understand Japan is to appreciate these quiet customs, not as rules, but as expressions of care, respect, and mindfulness. Sports and leisure. Sports and leisure in Japan blend tradition, discipline, and pure enjoyment, creating a culture where physical movement becomes both an art and a way of life. Whether it's the thunder of a sumo match or the peaceful rhythm of a lakeside cycle route, Japan invites you to experience activity with heart, respect, and spirit. The most iconic of all is sumo wrestling, Japan's ancient national sport. Step into a sumo arena and you'll feel the air crackle with ritual. Wrestlers, powerful yet graceful, purify the ring with salt before clashing in intense bursts of strength and technique. The crowd reacts with quiet awe, then sudden roars, as centuries-old traditions unfold in real time. Watching sumo is like stepping into a living piece of history. Just as traditional, but for very different reasons, is martial arts. From the disciplined strikes of karate to the fluid throws of judo and the meditative precision of kendo, these arts are about far more than physical skill. They teach focus, humility, and inner strength. Even as a visitor, witnessing a practice session in a wooden-floored dojo feels deeply moving. Outdoors, Japan is a paradise for adventure and leisure. Its mountains call hikers from around the world, especially those aiming for the famous ascent of Mount Fuji. Meanwhile, regions like Nagano and Hokkaido offer world-class skiing and snowboarding, where powder snow falls so softly locals call it Jappo. Every winter the slopes fill with glowing mountain towns, steaming onsens, and crisp alpine air. Cycling has also become a beloved pastime. The Shimanami Kaido, a scenic route that crosses bright blue seas via a series of sweeping bridges, is often described as one of the most beautiful bike journeys on Earth. You'll ride between islands dotted with villages, lemon groves, and viewpoints where time seems to slow. For something more peaceful, Japan's coastline offers calm beaches, gentle kayaking routes, and fishing spots where early morning reflections dance across the water. Even simple leisure, an evening stroll through a lantern-lit neighborhood, or soaking in a hot spring after a long day, is considered part of Japan's approach to wellness and balance. In Japan, sports and leisure aren't just activities, they are expressions of culture, connection, and the joy of moving through life with intention. Architecture through the ages. Japan's architecture feels like a quiet dialogue between past and present, a landscape where ancient wooden shrines share space with futuristic skyscrapers, and where simplicity and innovation walk side by side. Each building, whether centuries old or newly built, carries a story about the country's identity, spirit, and creativity. The journey begins with Shinto shrines, among the oldest structures in the nation. Often tucked into forests or perched beside rivers, they feel like extensions of nature itself. Their wooden beams, thatched or copper roofs, and iconic red torii gates create an atmosphere of serenity. Visiting the Sacred Eye's Grand Shrine, rebuilt every 20 years using ancient techniques, is like witnessing time renew itself, a living tradition preserved through craftsmanship and ritual. As Buddhism arrived from mainland Asia, Japan's architectural world expanded. Buddhist temples introduced sweeping tiled roofs, carved guardians, and grand halls filled with incense. In Nara, the monumental Great Buddha sitting inside Tadaiji is framed by one of the largest wooden structures ever built. In Kyoto, the shimmering gold leaf of Kinkakuji reflects across a mirror-like pond, while Zen temples such as Ryenji use rocks, sand, and empty space to create powerful, meditative beauty. Japan's historic cities evolved through the rise of the samurai. Castles like Himeji, the White Heron Castle, tower gracefully above the landscape, their layered roofs designed to confuse invaders and impress allies. Walking across their wooden floors, you feel the echoes of warriors, merchants, and the strategic minds that shaped Japan's feudal era. In rural areas, traditional Minka farmhouses with steep thatched roofs stand strong against harsh winters. The Gasazukuri homes of Shikoku, built like hands pressed in prayer, show how architecture adapted to snowy mountain life. These houses glow warmly from within during winter nights, creating scenes that feel lifted from folklore. As Japan stepped into the modern era, architecture changed again. After rebuilding post-World War II, cities embraced clean lines and bold experimentation. Today, Tokyo is a playground for cutting-edge design, from glass towers and neon skylines to minimalist wooden cafes and compact, ingenious homes. Architects like Tadaro Ando and Kengo Kumar have become global icons, blending tradition, nature, and modern materials into breathtaking contemporary spaces. Across centuries, Japan's architecture has remained anchored in a single idea: harmony, with nature, with people, and with time itself. Handicrafts and traditions. Japan's handicrafts are more than objects. They are stories shaped by hand, patience, and centuries of devotion. In workshops scattered across mountains, coastlines, and ancient towns, artisans continue traditions that have been passed down like treasured secrets, each craft reflecting the spirit of its region. In Kyoto, the gentle tap of chisels and the rustle of silk fill small studios where craftsmen create kimono textiles, dyed with colors inspired by nature. Every pattern, from flowing cherry blossoms to golden waves, carries symbolism, history, and a sense of quiet elegance. Watching a kimono artisan work is like witnessing a poem take form through fabric. Travel north to the pottery towns, and the earth itself becomes art. In places like Mashiko, Erita, and Shigaraki, hands shape clay into bowls, cups, and vases that feel soft and organic. The surfaces crackle, shimmer, or glow with natural glazes born from fire. Japanese pottery is never just functional. It tells the story of soil, flame, and time. In the snowy mountains of Gifu, you'll find the delicate craft of wagashi, traditional sweets shaped like flowers, leaves, and seasonal motifs. They're often so beautiful you hesitate before eating them, each one created with precision and imagination. Served during tea ceremonies, wagashi reflect the seasons, the moment, and the beauty of small details. Lacquerware, known as urushi, requires extraordinary patience. Layer upon layer of lacquer is applied by hand, each one polished to a soft shine. Gold dust, shells, or intricate carvings are added, creating heirloom pieces that can last generations. These works shimmer like still water, carrying a sense of depth and mystery. In homes across Japan, you'll find origami cranes perched on shelves, paper fans painted with soft mountain scenes, and furoshiki cloths tied into elegant wraps for gifts or daily use. Even simple crafts hold meaning, reminders of harmony, gratitude, and the beauty of everyday life. Japan's traditions endure not because they resist change, but because each generation adds its own touch while honoring the past. These crafts connect people to their ancestors, their land, and the timeless art of making something with heart. Ancient origins. Japan's ancient origins feel like a tapestry woven from myth, mystery, and the earliest footsteps of people who shaped the archipelago long before written history began. To explore this chapter of Japan is to step into a world where gods walked the land, where stone circles marked the sky, and where early communities built the foundation of a unique and enduring culture. According to legend, Japan's story begins with the kami, the divine spirits of Shinto belief. The creation myth tells of Izanagi and Izanami, who stirred the sea with a jeweled spear until the first island formed. Their children became gods of mountains, storms, and the sun, including Amaterasu, the sun goddess and spiritual ancestor of Japan's imperial line. These stories weren't just myths, they shaped how early people viewed nature, family, and the sacredness of the land. Outside mythology, the first traces of Japan's human past lie in the Jomon era, stretching back more than 10,000 years. The Jomon people were skilled hunter-gatherers who lived in harmony with forests, rivers, and coastlines. They created some of the world's oldest pottery, beautifully curved vessels with swirling patterns that still inspire modern artists. Their clay figurines, the enigmatic dogu, look almost otherworldly, with large eyes and expressive forms that hint at rituals lost to time. Around 300 BCE, the Yayoi period brought change. New arrivals from the Asian mainland introduced rice farming, weaving, metal tools, and more organized communities. Villages grew, agriculture flourished, and Japan shifted from scattered tribal life to interconnected societies. Burial mounds, bronze bells, and pottery from this time reveal a people refining their craft and shaping new traditions. By the Kofun period, 3rd to 6th century, powerful clans began to rise, building immense keyhole-shaped tombs for their leaders. These kofun, some as long as small cities, still lie across the landscape like giant footprints of early rulers. Inside, mirrors, jewelry, armor, and ceremonial objects show the growing influence of trade and emerging political structure. These early eras formed the roots of Japan's identity. They shaped its mythology, its reverence for nature, its artistic spirit, and its sense of lineage. From the clay pots of Jomon villages to the monumental kofun of ancient kings, Japan's origins continue to echo through its landscapes, traditions, and cultural soul. Kingdoms and empires. Japan's early kingdoms and emerging empires form one of the most fascinating chapters of its past, a time when powerful clans shaped the land, foreign ideas reshaped society, and the essence of the Japanese state first took root. It was an age of spiritual rulers, elegant courts, and the quiet forging of systems that would guide the country for centuries. After the monumental Kofun burial mounds signaled the rise of elite leaders, Japan entered the era when the Yamato clan began to dominate. Centered in the fertile Nara region, the Yamato rulers combined political authority with spiritual significance, claiming divine descent from Amaterasu, the sun goddess. Their influence spread across the islands, laying the groundwork for a unified state. As Japan opened its doors to the Asian mainland, waves of cultural transformation followed. Buddhism, introduced from Korea and China, brought new beliefs, new art, and new ways of thinking. Chinese characters evolved into the Japanese writing system. Philosophies, administrative systems, and architectural ideas traveled across the sea, inspiring leaders to create a more organized and sophisticated government. By the Asuka and Nara periods, Japan established its first permanent capital at Heihokyo, modern Nara. Grand temples such as the mighty Tadaiji rose from the earth, housing enormous statues of the Buddha and reflecting the power of the imperial court. Streets were laid in straight lines, palaces built with sweeping roofs, and government offices organized according to new systems of law. The move to Heian-kyo, Kyoto, in 794 ushered in a golden age of refinement. The imperial court became a world of poetry, music, elegance, and ceremony. Families like the Fujiwara gained enormous influence, guiding emperors and shaping the culture of the time. Court life reached an artistic peak with works such as The Tale of Genji, capturing the beauty and emotional depth of aristocratic society. Yet beneath this graceful world, political power was shifting. Regional clans grew stronger, gaining military influence and control over land. These emerging warriors, the samurai, would soon transform Japan's political landscape, paving the way for shogunates and centuries of martial rule. But in this earlier era of kingdoms and imperial courts, Japan found its voice. Its systems of government, its spirituality, its art, and its sense of identity all took shape, creating the foundation upon which the rest of its history stands. Colonial and foreign influence. Japan's relationship with the outside world has always been delicate, a dance of curiosity, caution, adaptation, and transformation. Across the centuries, foreign influence has swept over the islands in waves, sometimes embraced with excitement, sometimes resisted with fierce protection. Each encounter left its mark, shaping Japan into the unique blend of tradition and modernity it is today. The first major wave came during the Asuka and Nara periods, when ideas from China and Korea reshaped Japan's early state. Buddhism, writing, architecture, and systems of government arrived across the sea, bringing structure, spirituality, and new artistic visions. Rather than copying these influences, Japan wove them into its own identity, a gentle absorption that defined its early growth. Centuries later, in 1543, a storm-driven ship brought Portuguese traders to Japanese shores. With them came new technologies, new foods, and new faiths. Firearms transformed warfare. Tempura and castella cake entered the culinary world. Jesuit missionaries introduced Christianity, building small but influential communities. This period, known as the Nanban trade, filled Japanese ports with strange ships, foreign languages, and dazzling goods never seen before. But foreign influence also brought tension. As Christianity spread and daimyo aligned with European powers, the shogunate grew wary. To protect its culture and maintain control, Japan entered the Shikoku era, over 200 years of national isolation. Trade was restricted to a single artificial island in Nagasaki. Foreign books were censored. Japan turned inward, cultivating its own traditions with remarkable focus. When the isolation finally ended in 1853, everything changed at once. American ships sailed into Edo Bay, demanding open ports. What followed was a shockwave of modernization: railways, factories, Western clothing, and new political systems. Japan transformed with astonishing speed, determined never to be controlled by foreign powers. By the early 20th century, Japan had built its own empire, a complex and painful chapter that reshaped its role in Asia. After World War II, foreign influence entered a new era. American occupation brought democratic reforms, new freedoms, and cultural shifts. In the decades that followed, Japan opened fully to the world, embracing global trade, technology, cinema, and fashion while still preserving its heritage. Today, Japan is a country shaped by encounters, inspired by the world, yet deeply rooted in its own spirit. Struggles and revolutions. Japan's history, often remembered for its elegance, art, and order, is also shaped by fierce struggles and dramatic turning points. These periods of conflict and transformation forged the nation's character, pushing it to adapt, rebuild, and emerge stronger each time. The early centuries saw the rise of the samurai, a warrior class that reshaped Japan's political landscape. As the imperial court in Kyoto weakened, powerful clans stepped into the vacuum. Rivalries boiled into the legendary Genpei War, a clash between the Taira and Minamoto families. The conflict ended with the Minamoto victory and the birth of the first shogunate, shifting power away from the emperor and into the hands of military rulers. It was a revolution, quiet, decisive, and the beginning of a new political order. But stability remained fragile. Japan soon entered the Sengo period, an age of relentless civil war. Castles rose across mountains and plains, alliances shifted overnight, and daimyo fought for land, honor, and survival. This was the crucible that produced towering unifiers like Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, leaders whose ambition and strategy eventually brought an end to centuries of chaos. The establishment of the Tokugawa Shogunate in 1603 brought long-awaited peace, but not without underlying tensions. Social roles became rigid, peasants revolted under heavy taxes, and the country closed itself off from most of the world. For more than 250 years, Japan lived in a carefully controlled stillness, until Western ships arrived in 1853, demanding trade and change. This sudden intrusion ignited a national crisis. Samurai, scholars, and regional leaders were split between resisting foreign pressure and embracing reform. The turmoil exploded into the Boshin War, a civil conflict that toppled the shogunate. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration restored imperial rule and launched Japan into a whirlwind transformation. Samurai privileges ended overnight, feudal domains disappeared, and modernization swept across the country with breathtaking speed. The 20th century brought challenges of its own. Japan's pursuit of empire led to international conflict, culminating in the devastation of World War II. Cities were destroyed, the nation's morale shattered. But in the aftermath, Japan reinvented itself once again, rebuilding its economy, reshaping its identity, and emerging as a peaceful, innovative global leader. Japan's struggles and revolutions reveal a nation that has survived upheaval again and again, not by resisting change, but by transforming through it. Modern nationhood. Japan's journey into modern nationhood is one of the most dramatic and inspiring transformations in global history, a story of reinvention, resilience, and a nation determined to shape its own future. In little more than a century, Japan evolved from a closed feudal society into one of the world's most innovative, influential, and culturally dynamic countries. The turning point began with the Meiji Restoration of 1868. As the shogunate fell and imperial power was restored, Japan faced an urgent awakening. The world had changed, and Japan chose to change with it. Feudal domains were abolished, the samurai class lost their privileges, and a new era of openness and modernization swept across the islands. Railways were laid, factories built, foreign scholars invited, and young Japanese were sent abroad to learn medicine, engineering, industry, and governance. Within a generation, Japan had transformed itself into a modern state with a constitutional government, a national army, new industries, and a blossoming cultural confidence. The country adopted Western innovations but reshaped them through a uniquely Japanese lens, blending technology with tradition, ambition with discipline. The early 20th century brought both triumph and turmoil. Industrial strength grew, but so did militaristic expansion. Japan's imperial ambitions led to decades of conflict, culminating in the devastation of World War II. In 1945, cities lay in ruins, and the future felt uncertain. Yet it was from this moment of profound hardship that modern Japan rose again. Under democratic reforms and with a renewed focus on peace, Japan embraced a new vision of growth. Industries revived with astonishing speed. Innovation became a national mission. Electronics, automobiles, robotics, design, and engineering propelled Japan into a global economic powerhouse. By the 1980s, The world looked to Japan as a symbol of precision, quality, and cutting-edge technology. At the same time, Japan continued to protect the heart of its culture, its festivals, its craftsmanship, its art, and its deep connection to the past. Modern nationhood did not erase tradition, it made it shine even brighter. Today, Japan is a country where ancient temples stand beside bullet train tracks, where digital cities pulse with life while rural villages preserve centuries-old customs, and where innovation moves forward without ever forgetting the stories that came before. It is a nation shaped by endurance, creativity, and a remarkable ability to rebuild stronger after every challenge. Today's identity. Japan today is a nation where the ancient and the modern live side by side in a harmony found almost nowhere else in the world. Its identity is a tapestry woven from quiet tradition, bold innovation, and a calm sense of pride in its culture. The result is a country that feels both timeless and constantly evolving, a place where you can step from a neon-lit street into a 1,000-year-old temple in the space of a single minute. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, the future hums all around you. Bullet trains glide with effortless precision, robots greet customers in stores, and digital art museums immerse visitors in worlds of shifting light. Yet even in the busiest neighborhoods, you'll find wooden shrines between skyscrapers, old ramen shops hidden down alleyways, and rituals that have remained unchanged for centuries. Japan has never abandoned its past, it carries it gracefully into the present. A defining part of Japan's modern identity is its devotion to craftsmanship. The spirit of monozukuri, creating with heart, skill, and care, lives in everything from ceramics and carpentry to cameras, cars, and cutting-edge electronics. Whether handmade or high-tech, objects are crafted with purpose and quiet excellence. Culturally, Japan today is both deeply local and wonderfully global. Anime, manga, design, film, fashion, and gaming have transformed Japan into a cultural giant, influencing creativity around the world. At the same time, rural villages preserve festivals, dances, and customs that feel untouched by time. Modern Japan is a bridge between heritage and imagination. Socially, the country values harmony, politeness, and community. You feel it in the gentle bow of greeting, the orderly flow of trains, the seasonal celebrations, and the way nature is honored, from cherry blossom viewing in spring to moon festivals in autumn. Japan's identity today is not one thing. It's quiet and energetic, ancient and futuristic, grounded in tradition yet always looking ahead. It is a place that invites you to slow down, look closer, and appreciate beauty in both the simplest details and the most extraordinary innovations. Top cities, towns, and villages. Japan is a country of contrasts, glittering megacities, serene temple towns, and villages where time seems to move at the pace of wind through cedar trees. Exploring its cities and countryside is like stepping through different chapters of the same story, each place offering its own rhythm, flavors, and quiet magic. Tokyo, the nation's heartbeat, dazzles with futuristic energy. Here, crosswalks glow beneath neon signs, trains glide silently into spotless stations, and each district feels like its own little universe. From the fashion streets of Harajuku to the tranquil gardens of Chiyoda, Tokyo is a city that surprises you with its mix of chaos and calm, a place where ancient shrines sit just steps away from towering skyscrapers. In contrast, Kyoto holds the elegance of old Japan. Lantern-lit alleyways, wooden tea houses, and timeless temples create an atmosphere that feels almost dreamlike. Walking through the vermilion gates of Fushimi Inari or watching the golden reflection of Kinkakuji shimmer on its pond, you feel surrounded by centuries of artistry and devotion. Kyoto isn't just a city, it's a living museum of beauty and tradition. To the west lies Osaka, vibrant and full of personality. Known for its friendly locals, bright humor, and mouth-watering street food, Osaka is Japan at its most joyful. Neon lights flicker over the Dotonbori Canal, takoyaki sizzles on corner stalls, and the lively atmosphere makes every night feel like a celebration. For history and culture by the sea, Hiroshima offers a deeply moving experience. Its Peace Memorial Park, quiet and powerful, honors the past while looking toward hope. Yet modern Hiroshima is warm and lively, a city of leafy streets, riverside cafes, and a spirit stronger than its history. In the northern mountains, Tokuyama feels like stepping back in time. Edo period houses, morning markets, and traditional sake breweries give this small town a gentle charm. Nearby Shikoku, with its steeply thatched gasazukuri houses, looks like a village from a storybook, especially when snow blankets its rooftops in winter. Further north, Sapporo blends wide boulevards, fresh seafood, and snowy adventures. In winter, ice sculptures transform the city into a frozen wonderland. In summer, its open parks and mountain views offer fresh, cool air and long, pleasant days. And along the coast of Kyushu, the volcanic hot spring town of Beppu releases billowing clouds of steam into the air, a landscape shaped by the Earth's deep energy. Quaint, quirky, and unforgettable, it shows just how varied Japan's small towns can be. From megacities filled with electric life to quiet hamlets nestled between rice fields, Japan's towns and villages each carry a piece of the country's heart, waiting to be discovered, savored, and remembered. Historic and cultural landmarks. Japan's historic and cultural landmarks are windows into a nation shaped by devotion, artistry, resilience, and timeless beauty. They are the places where stories rise from stone, wood, and water, where the ancient still breathes in the modern world. Exploring them feels like stepping through layers of history, each one revealing something deeper about Japan's soul. In Kyoto, history spreads out like a map of moments. The glowing gates of Fushimi Inari Taisha wind up a sacred mountain, forming a tunnel of bright vermilion that leads walkers through quiet forests and centuries of devotion. At Kinkakuji, the golden pavilion floats gracefully above its mirror-like pond, a shimmering masterpiece of medieval architecture and spiritual elegance. Nearby temples, gardens, and tea houses weave together a world that feels unchanged by time. In Nara, one of Japan's most ancient capitals, the immense bronze Buddha of Tadaiji sits in serene stillness inside an enormous wooden hall, one of the largest wooden structures on Earth. Outside, deer wander gently among stone lanterns and moss-covered paths, as if still acting as the messengers of the gods. Japan's castles tell the dramatic tales of the samurai era. Himeji Castle, often called the White Heron, rises in sweeping white tiers, both beautiful and formidable. It is the finest surviving example of Japanese castle architecture, a perfect blend of grace and defensive genius. Matsumoto Castle, with its jet-black walls and mountain backdrop, stands as a powerful reminder of Japan's feudal past, its towers reflected in a tranquil moat. Along the coast near Hiroshima, the iconic red torii gate of its Tsukushima shrine appears to float upon the sea during high tide, a symbol of harmony between nature and spirituality. When the waters rise around it, the entire shrine seems suspended between earth and heaven. In Hiroshima itself, the atomic bomb dome stands in poignant silence, preserved exactly as it was after the 1945 blast. It is one of the most powerful cultural landmarks in the world, a reminder of tragedy, resilience, and Japan's commitment to peace. Further north in Kanazawa, the preserved Higoshi-Chiya district offers a glimpse into traditional tea house culture, its wooden facades glowing warmly at dusk. In Nagano and Akita, old samurai districts like Shogunate reveal homes, armor, and gardens that once belonged to warrior families. From sacred mountainside shrines to serene gardens and elegant castles, each landmark tells a story of faith, artistry, endurance, and transformation. Together, they form the living memory of Japan. Beaches and coastline. Japan's coastline is a world of contrasts, from wild, windswept cliffs overlooking roaring waves to calm, tropical bays where the water glows turquoise beneath the sun. With more than 29,000 kilometers of shoreline, Japan offers beaches that feel serene, untamed, or dreamily exotic, each revealing a different side of the islands. In the far south, the Okinawa Islands feel like a tropical paradise. Soft white sand melts beneath your feet as warm, crystal-clear water laps gently onto the shore. Beaches like Zampa, Narai, and Emerald Beach shimmer with vibrant shades of blue, while coral reefs just offshore reveal schools of colorful fish and graceful sea turtles. The rhythm of island life is slow and soothing, perfect for swimming, snorkeling, or simply lying beneath palm trees as the tide washes in and out. On the volcanic islands of Amami and Yakushima, the coast becomes wild and dramatic. Rocky coves and pristine bays meet lush, ancient forests. At sunset, golden light spills across the shoreline, turning the sea into a shimmering mirror. These islands offer solitude, beauty, and a sense of closeness to nature that feels almost otherworldly. Along Japan's central coast, the rugged scenery of the Noto Peninsula reveals a quieter charm. Fishing villages stand beside steep cliffs, sea spray drifts over rocky outcrops, and winding coastal roads offer breathtaking views of the Japan Sea. Here, beaches are often secluded, stretches of pale sand hidden between rugged headlands. Near Tokyo, the Shonan coast and Kamakura beaches draw surfers, swimmers, and daytrippers seeking sun, sand, and sea breezes. In summer, beachfront cafes open up, music drifts across the water, and Mount Fuji can sometimes be seen rising dramatically across the bay. In the west, the Seto Inland Sea offers calm waters dotted with small islands. Beaches here feel gentle and inviting, with soft waves and golden light that turns magical at dusk. Places like Naoshima, famous for its art museums and installations, combine coastal beauty with creativity, making every shoreline walk feel inspiring. On the northern island of Hokkaido, the coastline shifts again. Shirabeshi and Shikoku Peninsula are home to rugged cliffs, cobalt blue seas, and dramatic rock formations carved by wind and waves. The water here is so clear it almost glows, especially on sunny summer days. From tropical shores to windswept northern bays, Japan's coastline reveals a side of the country that is peaceful, adventurous, and endlessly varied. Hidden gems. Japan's most magical places are often the ones tucked away from the spotlight. Small towns hidden in misty mountains, quiet islands where time slows, and landscapes so untouched they feel like secrets shared only with those who wander far enough to find them. These hidden gems reveal a softer, more intimate Japan, rich in beauty and mystery. In the mountain folds of Gifu Prefecture lies Inokura, a tiny village of steep thatched roof houses known as gasazukuri, shaped like hands pressed together in prayer. Mist clings to the rooftops in the early morning, and at night the lanterns glow softly, giving the village a dreamlike aura. With its deep forests, narrow footpaths, and calm pace, Inokura feels like stepping into an old folktale. On the northern island of Hokkaido, Lake Marshu shimmers with some of the clearest water in the world. Often hidden by swirling fog, the lake reveals a brilliant sapphire blue surface on clear days. The volcanic crater rim surrounding it offers sweeping views and complete silence, a place where even the wind seems to whisper. Along the Sea of Japan sits a fishing village unlike any other. Here, traditional Funaya boathouses line the water's edge, their wooden frames rising directly above the sea. With calm waves reflecting the sky and small boats drifting in and out, it feels peaceful and deeply rooted in tradition. In Wakayama Prefecture, the sacred pilgrimage trails of Kumano-Kodo wind through ancient forests, mossy stone paths, and guardian shrines. Walking these routes feels like traveling back through centuries of devotion, guided by the sound of rustling leaves and distant temple bells. On Shikoku, the remote Aya Valley hides emerald gorges, vine bridges swaying gently above rushing rivers, and hillside villages perched on steep slopes. Narrow roads twist through deep greenery, offering views that are graceful, untouched, and uniquely Japanese. And far to the south, Yonaguni Island reveals underwater mysteries. The famous Yonaguni Monument, a vast stone structure with terraces and sharp angles that divers still debate, natural formation or ancient ruins. Surrounded by warm seas and graceful hammerhead sharks, it's one of Japan's most intriguing hidden wonders. These places are quiet, humble, and far from the ordinary trails, but they hold some of Japan's most unforgettable beauty, adventure, and activities. Japan may be known for its temples, traditions, and refined calm, but beneath that peaceful surface lies a world of adventure waiting to be explored. From snowy peaks to tropical waters, volcanic landscapes to whispering forests, Japan offers experiences that stir the senses and thrill the spirit. In winter, the mountains of Hokkaido transform into a playground of powder snow. Resorts like Nisko and Furano are famous for some of the lightest, fluffiest snow on Earth, the kind that drifts around you like feathers as you ski or snowboard down wide, silent slopes. Steam rises from outdoor hot springs at sunset, where adventurers soak beneath falling snowflakes after a day on the mountains. For those who prefer altitude in warmer seasons, the Japanese Alps offer breathtaking hiking, ridge walks, and dramatic summits. Trails in Kawamochi wind through turquoise rivers and cedar forests before rising toward jagged peaks that scrape the sky. In autumn, the entire landscape glows in red and gold, turning simple walks into unforgettable journeys through color. Along Japan's coast, adventure takes a gentler, more aquatic form. Kayaking through the quiet waters of the Seto Inland Sea reveals tiny islands, floating fishing nets, and remote beaches that feel untouched by time. In Okinawa, crystal blue seas invite snorkelers and divers into coral gardens teeming with sea turtles, colorful fish, and bright reefs swaying in the currents. Japan's volcanic heart provides its own kind of thrill. In Kyushu, you can peer into the enormous crater of Mount Aso, where steam rises in white plumes from deep within the earth. Further north, hikers explore the lunar-like landscapes of Hakone, where volcanic vents, bubbling pools, and sulfur-scented trails create a surreal, otherworldly adventure. For something quieter but no less profound, the ancient pilgrimage trails of the Kumano-Kodo lead travelers through deep forests, stone paths, and remote shrines. Every step carries centuries of history, offering not only physical challenge but spiritual reflection. Japan also rewards those who seek out its rural traditions, cycling along rice terraces in Shikoku, boating down the emerald waters of the Hozu River, or crossing the vine bridges of the Aya Valley that sway gently above rushing rivers. Each adventure feels deeply connected to nature and culture, blending excitement with discovery. From snowy slopes to sacred footpaths, coral seas to volcanic wonders, Japan is a country that invites you to explore, challenge yourself, and experience the landscape in unforgettable ways. Cultural experiences. Japan is a country where culture breathes through everyday life, in the way tea is shared, in the glow of lanterns at dusk, and in the gentle rituals that turn ordinary moments into something meaningful. To experience Japan is to immerse yourself in traditions shaped by centuries of artistry, spirituality, and human connection. One of the most intimate windows into Japanese culture is the tea ceremony, known as chanoyu. Inside a quiet tea house, the host prepares matcha with slow, precise movements, each gesture designed to evoke harmony and respect. The warmth of the tea, the scent of tatami, the soft whisper of the whisk, together they create a moment of stillness that lingers long after the ceremony ends. In the historic streets of Kyoto, the world of Geiko and Maiko reveals a living art form. As evening settles over Gion, lanterns flicker to life and silk kimono rustle softly as Maiko hurry between appointments, their hair adorned with seasonal ornaments. Their performances of dance, music, and refined conversation are the result of years of discipline and devotion, offering a glimpse into one of Japan's most cherished traditions. Japan's Matsuri, festivals, fill the country with color, energy, and joy. In summer, fireworks burst above rivers, while food stalls fill the air with the scent of grilled corn and sweet mochi. The Nabuta festival in Omori glows with massive illuminated floats, while Kyoto's Gion Matsuri sees towering wooden structures pulled through the streets to the sound of ancient festival music. Hands-on cultural workshops allow travelers to connect directly with Japan's artisan spirit. In Mashiko, potters shape clay into elegant bowls. In Tokushima, indigo dyeing turns fabrics deep shades of blue, and in Kanazawa, gold leaf artisans teach the delicate craft of decorating lacquerware and souvenirs with shimmering gold. Each activity is rooted in monozukuri, the Japanese devotion to careful, heartfelt craftsmanship. Japan's tradition of onsen bathing offers a different kind of cultural experience, one of relaxation, purity, and connection to the natural world. Whether soaking beneath falling snow in Nagano or in riverside hot springs in Kyushu, the warm mineral-rich waters bring a sense of peace that feels deeply Japanese. Across the country, travelers can join calligraphy lessons, learn the rhythms of taiko drumming, meditate with monks in Zen temples, or stay overnight in ryokan inns, where tatami rooms, kaiseki meals, and yukata robes create an atmosphere of timeless hospitality. Japan's cultural experiences are not just activities, they are invitations to slow down, observe closely, and appreciate the quiet beauty hidden in everyday moments. Bucket list highlights. Japan is a land of moments that etch themselves into memory, experiences so unique, so breathtaking, that they become stories you'll carry for a lifetime. These bucket list highlights capture the country at its most magical, spiritual, and unforgettable. Standing at the summit of Mount Fuji as the sun rises is one of Japan's most iconic experiences. After climbing through the night, you arrive just as the horizon blushes gold and pink. The world below disappears beneath a sea of clouds, and for a quiet, powerful moment, it feels as though the whole sky belongs to you. In Kyoto, walking through the endless vermilion gates of Fushimi Inari Taisha is like stepping into a dream. The Torii Tunnel winds through bamboo forests and sacred mountain paths, glowing brightly even in the shade. With every step, the world feels more peaceful, more enchanted. A stay in a traditional ryokan, complete with tatami rooms, sliding shoji doors, and a steaming onsen bath, transforms a simple night's rest into a cultural immersion. Wrapped in a soft yukata, you dine on a seasonal kaiseki meal shaped like a work of art, then soak beneath open skies as warm mineral water eases every sense. Early mornings in Kyoto's Arashiyama Bamboo Grove offer another kind of magic. When the sun first filters through the tall green stalks, the forest hums with a soft, whispering sound. Arrive at dawn, and the path feels like your own private world. On Miyajima Island, the iconic floating torii gate of Itsukushima Shrine rises from the sea in breathtaking harmony with nature. At high tide, the gate appears to hover on the water. At sunset, it glows like a lantern against the fading sky. In Tokyo, experiencing the electric pulse of the city at night is a bucket list moment in itself. Neon lights shimmer over the streets of Shinjuku, giant screens blaze in Shibuya, and the view from Tokyo's Skytree stretches across a glittering metropolis that seems to go on forever. For wildlife lovers, watching the snow monkeys bathe in hot springs in Jigokudani is both surreal and heartwarming. Steam curls into the cold winter air as the monkeys relax in the warm pools, their expressions almost human-like in their serenity. And finally, few adventures match the wonder of exploring the ancient pilgrimage trails of the Kumano Kodo, where mossy stone paths, dancing cedar trees, and sacred shrines create a journey both physical and spiritual. These experiences reveal Japan at its most extraordinary, where nature, culture, and spirit come together in unforgettable harmony. Museums and galleries. Japan's museums and galleries offer a journey through time, creativity, and imagination. From ancient treasures to immersive digital worlds, each space reveals a different side of the country, its history, its quiet beauty, and its endless curiosity. In Tokyo, the Tokyo National Museum stands as a gateway to Japan's past. Inside its serene halls, you'll find samurai armor polished to a muted shine, delicate kimonos embroidered with gold thread, ancient Buddhist statues carved from fragrant wood, and painted scrolls that tell stories of emperors, warriors, and lovers. Walking through the galleries feels like turning the pages of a living history book. For lovers of modern art, TeamLab Borderless is unlike anything else in the world. Here, you don't just look at art, you step inside it. Rooms glow with waterfalls of digital light, flowers bloom beneath your feet, and colors shift around you like something alive. It's a place where reality dissolves and imagination takes over. In Kanazawa, the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art blends creativity with curiosity. Circular in shape, open and bright, the museum invites visitors to explore installations that challenge the senses. Its famous swimming pool artwork lets you stand beneath the surface of a pool without getting wet, a playful world between illusion and reality. Kyoto preserves the quiet refinement of traditional artistry. At the Kyoto National Museum, ceramics, calligraphy, lacquerware, and textiles reveal centuries of craftsmanship shaped by ritual and devotion. Nearby, Smaller galleries in old wooden houses showcase the elegance of tea ceremony utensils, handmade papers, and local crafts. In Hiroshima, the Peace Memorial Museum offers one of Japan's most powerful and moving experiences. Its exhibits tell the story of the atomic bombing with honesty and compassion, focusing on peace, remembrance, and hope. Walking through its halls leaves an imprint that stays with you long after you leave the city. Art takes many forms in Japan, and some of the most enchanting galleries are found on Naoshima, often called Japan's Art Island. Here, sculptures rise from sandy beaches, museums blend into hillsides, and the boundary between art and landscape disappears. Yayoi Kusama's iconic dotted pumpkins sit quietly by the shore, watching the waves roll in. From ancient ceramics to digital light shows, serene galleries to bold contemporary innovation, Japan's museums reveal the heart of a country that honors its past while constantly imagining its future. UNESCO Heritage Sites. Japan's UNESCO World Heritage Sites are more than places. They are living chapters of history, culture, and natural beauty. Each one carries a story shaped by devotion, craftsmanship, and the quiet power of nature. Visiting them feels like stepping into the heart of Japan's identity. One of the most iconic is Himeji Castle, often called the White Heron. Rising gracefully above the landscape, its bright white walls and sweeping roofs resemble a bird in flight. Walking through its winding corridors and wooden chambers, you can feel the spirit of the samurai age, a blend of elegance, strategy, and quiet strength. In the sacred mountains of Noro and Wakayama, the sacred sites and pilgrimage routes of the Kii mountain range offer a journey through deep forests, mossy stones, and ancient shrines. The Kumano-Kodo trails twist through cedar trees and remote villages, carrying pilgrims toward places believed to connect the earthly world with the divine. Every step along these paths feels like a whisper from Japan's spiritual past. On the island of Miyajima, the glowing red torii gate of its Tsukushima shrine rises from the sea, creating a vision that seems almost otherworldly. At high tide, the gate appears to float on water. At low tide, you can walk across the sand to stand beneath its towering pillars. The surrounding shrine, built over the water on wooden stilts, is a masterpiece of harmony between human architecture and nature. The historic monuments of ancient Kyoto reveal the soul of Japan's classical era. Golden temples, Zen gardens, imperial villas, and tranquil shrines preserve the elegance of centuries gone by. Wandering through the quiet hallways of Kiyomizudera or the peaceful gardens of Ginkakuji feels like entering a world shaped by poetry, philosophy, and beauty. Further north, on the island of Hokkaido, the Shirakami Sanchi and Shikoku Peninsula showcase Japan's wild and untamed nature. Shikoku is one of the most pristine ecosystems in Asia, home to brown bears, drifting sea ice, rugged cliffs, and waterfalls that freeze into crystal sculptures during winter. Shirakami's ancient beech forests are so untouched that they feel like a sanctuary for the planet itself. In the remote village of Shirakuwago, steep thatched roof houses stand surrounded by rice fields and snowy mountains. Their unique gasazukuri design, shaped like hands joined in prayer, is a tribute to centuries of rural life, community, and adaptation to harsh winters. Together, these sites form a tapestry of Japan's heritage, a blend of art, spirituality, craftsmanship, and natural wonder, preserved with reverence for future generations. Money and currency. Japan may be famous for its futuristic cities and cutting-edge technology, but when it comes to everyday transactions, the country still treasures the simplicity of cash. Traveling here feels like stepping into a world where sleek digital systems and old-fashioned traditions coexist perfectly. The official currency is the Japanese yen, used in both coins and bills that feature elegant designs and smooth paper. You'll quickly notice that coins play a big role in daily life. Small purchases like snacks from a street stall, temple offerings, or local bus fares often rely on exact change. Keeping a small coin purse becomes surprisingly handy. Despite Japan's love for cash, modern payment methods are becoming more common. Major hotels, department stores, and many restaurants now accept credit and debit cards. But what truly makes traveling easier are the rechargeable IC cards such as Suica, Pasmo, and Shikoku. With a simple tap, you can ride trains, buy drinks at vending machines, pay in convenience stores, and breeze through ticket gates without slowing down. They're one of Japan's most convenient little joys. ATMs, however, can be a maze for foreigners. Not all machines accept international cards, so it's best to rely on 7-Eleven, FamilyMart, and Japan Post Bank ATMs, all of which offer 24/7 withdrawals with good exchange rates. With Japan's famously low crime rates, carrying a bit of cash feels perfectly safe. Prices vary just as much as the landscapes. You can enjoy a hearty bowl of ramen or a convenience store lunch for just a few hundred yen, while multi-course kaiseki dinners or premium sushi can reach the upper end of the scale. Japan offers comfort for every budget, from backpackers to luxury seekers. Handling money in Japan becomes part of the experience. Bowing slightly when handing over bills, placing cash neatly in the tray at shops, and receiving change with 2 careful hands. These small gestures reflect the country's deep respect for politeness and precision. Transport and getting around. Getting around Japan is a joy in itself. A smooth, efficient experience where everything seems to run on time, move with purpose, and glide with quiet precision. Whether you're crossing the country at lightning speed or wandering through small towns, Japan's transport system feels like a travel companion guiding you gently from place to place. The star of the show is the Shinkansen, Japan's legendary bullet train. Sleek, aerodynamic, and astonishingly punctual, it whisks you from Tokyo to Kyoto or Osaka in just a few hours. As the train glides through mountains, coastlines, and towns, the scenery flashes past like moving art. Inside, it's peaceful, wide seats, silent carriages, and the soft hum of a world built for travelers. Within cities, local trains and subways create a network so detailed and reliable that you can travel almost anywhere with ease. Stations are clean, clearly marked, and full of helpful signs in English. Even in the busiest rush hour moments, there's a sense of order that makes navigating Japan feel surprisingly comfortable. For shorter journeys, IC cards like Suica, Pasmo, and Shikoku are essential. A quick tap opens gates, pays for buses, buys drinks from vending machines, and even covers small purchases at convenience stores. They make moving around feel effortless. In smaller towns and rural areas, buses become the backbone of travel, connecting villages, hot springs, mountain trails, and coastal paths. Drivers are courteous, and routes are well organized, though timetables can be less frequent. It's always worth checking in advance. Japan's taxis are famously clean, safe, and reliable, with doors that open automatically as if welcoming you inside. Drivers often wear white gloves, adding a touch of elegance to even the simplest journey. For those who crave independence, renting a car can be incredibly rewarding. especially in regions like Hokkaido, Kyushu, or the Japanese Alps, where roads wind through dramatic landscapes. Driving is calm and orderly, and countryside roads often reveal hidden gems that trains never reach. Cycling is popular too, especially in scenic regions like Shimanami-Kaido, where 70 kilometers cycling route leads across island bridges with views of the Seto Inland Sea. Japan's transport system is more than a way to get from A to B. It's part of the adventure, offering comfort, beauty, and a sense of effortless movement through a country designed for travelers. Visas and entry requirements. Arriving in Japan feels exciting the moment you step off the plane, a blend of calm efficiency and warm hospitality. Fortunately, entering the country is usually a smooth, stress-free process, especially for travelers from nations with visa exemption agreements. Many visitors can enter Japan visa-free for short stays, typically up to 90 days, provided they hold a valid passport and an onward return ticket. Immigration officers may ask a few simple questions about your trip, but the process is straightforward and polite, very much in the spirit of Japan's welcoming nature. For travelers who do require a visa, the process is usually handled through Japanese embassies or consulates abroad. Tourist visas are generally easy to obtain, often needing only a passport, a completed application form, proof of travel plans, and sometimes evidence of financial stability. Longer stays, such as working holidays, study programs, or employment, require specialized visa categories. Upon arrival, visitors receive a landing permission stamp in their passport. This marks the start of your stay and contains the length of time you're allowed to remain in the country. Japan is very clear about its immigration rules, so it's important to respect the permitted stay and avoid overstaying, even by a small margin. Customs procedures are similarly smooth. Travelers complete a simple declaration form and may be asked to open luggage if selected for inspection. Japan is strict about items like fresh foods, plants, and certain medications, so it's worth checking before you pack. For most travelers, that's all there is to it. A brief queue, a friendly stamp, and suddenly you're stepping into a world of lanterns, mountains, temples, neon lights, and new adventures waiting just beyond the airport doors. Safety and health. Japan is often described as one of the safest countries in the world, and the moment you arrive, you understand why. Streets feel calm, people move with quiet respect, and a sense of order shapes daily life. Whether you're walking through busy Tokyo at night or exploring a remote village at dawn, Japan offers a level of safety that makes traveling here remarkably comfortable. Crime rates are extremely low, and locals are famously honest. It's not unusual to see someone forget a wallet or phone on a train, only to find it carefully handed in moments later. Public spaces are well lit, transportation is clean and organized, and even major cities feel peaceful compared to many global capitals. Health standards are equally high. Japan's hygiene culture is strong, from hand-washing stations at temples to the widespread use of masks during cold and flu season. Food safety is excellent, tap water is safe to drink everywhere, and hospitals and clinics provide high-quality care. That said, it's wise to travel with health insurance, as medical treatment can be expensive for visitors. Pharmacies are easy to find, though medication can differ from what you're used to at home. Japan's biggest natural safety considerations come from its landscape. As a volcanic and seismic country, earthquakes and tremors occasionally occur. They are usually small and handled with calm efficiency. Public announcements, phone alerts, and clear signage help guide people if needed. Typhoon season, mainly late summer, can bring strong winds and rain, so checking weather forecasts is always a smart idea. Outdoor adventures, from mountain hikes to hot spring visits, are incredibly rewarding but require normal precautions. Trails are well marked, but mountain weather can change quickly. Hot springs are safe and relaxing, though visitors with certain medical conditions should avoid very hot baths. Japan's commitment to safety, order, and well-being creates an environment where you can explore freely and confidently. It's a country that cares deeply about its people and treats its travelers with the same quiet consideration. Communication. Communicating in Japan is often far easier and far warmer than many travelers expect. Even if you don't speak a word of Japanese, the country's kindness, clarity, and quiet hospitality make every interaction feel smooth and reassuring. Most people in Japan speak at least a little English, especially in cities, train stations, hotels, and tourist areas. But even when language is limited, locals rarely let that become a barrier. A shopkeeper might pull out a calculator to show a price, a commuter may guide you to the correct platform, or a passerby may walk several minutes out of their way just to help you find what you're looking for. Communication here isn't only about words, it's about politeness, patience, and genuine willingness to assist. Signage also makes traveling easy. Train stations, airports, and major attractions use clear English translations. Bullet trains announce stops in both Japanese and English, and many smaller stations also provide bilingual signs. In rural areas, English may be less common, but gestures, smiles, and simple phrases bridge the gap beautifully. Learning a handful of Japanese words enriches the experience. Arigato, thank you, sumimasen, excuse me, sorry, and konnichiwa, hello, go a long way. Small bows accompany many greetings or thanks, a gesture that reflects the heart of Japanese courtesy and is warmly received when mirrored by visitors. Digital tools make communication even easier. Translation apps, offline dictionaries, and image scan features help you read menus, signs, or instructions instantly. Many restaurants use picture menus or display plastic models of dishes in their windows, which turns ordering into a fun and visual part of the journey. Wi-Fi is increasingly accessible, especially in hotels, cafes, airports, and major stations. Portable Wi-Fi devices and eSIMs are also widely available for travelers who prefer always-on connectivity. In Japan, communication becomes part of the travel experience, a gentle exchange of respect, curiosity, and kindness that often leads to the most memorable moments of the trip. Local laws and customs. Japan is a country where small details matter, where respect is woven into everyday life and where social harmony guides behavior as naturally as breathing. Understanding a few local laws and customs not only helps you avoid mistakes, but also deepens your appreciation for the gentle rhythm of Japanese society. One of the first things visitors notice is Japan's sense of order. People line up patiently at train platforms, wait for others to exit before boarding, and speak quietly in public spaces. This respect for shared environments is a key part of life here, and adopting it helps you blend seamlessly into the flow of daily life. Removing shoes is another deeply rooted custom. When entering traditional inns, homes, certain restaurants, temples, and even dressing rooms, you'll often find a small step or shoe rack indicating where footwear must be left. Slipping into indoor slippers feels like stepping into a quieter, more peaceful world. Japan also has strict rules around smoking, littering, and public cleanliness. Smoking is limited to designated areas, and dropping litter is frowned upon even when bins are hard to find. Carrying a small bag for rubbish is common and greatly appreciated. When visiting religious sites, a sense of calm and humility is important. Temples and shrines welcome visitors, but respectful behavior, speaking softly, avoiding intrusive photography, and observing purification rituals when appropriate is essential. Alcohol can be enjoyed in public without issue, but drunken behavior is discouraged. Despite this, nightlife districts remain lively yet surprisingly orderly, further reflecting Japan's balance of enjoyment and restraint. Legal differences also exist. Japan has strict laws regarding medications, particularly those containing strong stimulants. Some common Western cold medicines and ADHD medications may be restricted, so checking before travel is crucial. Drugs of any kind are taken extremely seriously. Possession is met with severe penalties. Finally, Japan's approach to personal space, courtesy, and conflict avoidance shapes many social interactions. Instead of saying no directly, people may give gentle hints. Instead of pointing, they gesture with an open hand. Instead of loud disagreement, silence is often preferred. Understanding these customs doesn't just keep you respectful, it brings you closer to the heart of Japanese culture, where harmony is valued just as deeply as tradition. Time, power, and connectivity. Japan is a country where precision and modern convenience meet in perfect harmony, and nowhere is that clearer than in the way time, electricity, and connectivity shape daily travel. From spotless train stations to fast internet, everything is designed to run smoothly and keep you effortlessly connected. Japan operates on Japan Standard Time, JST, a single time zone that covers the entire nation. There's no daylight savings, which means the rhythm of life moves at a steady, predictable pace all year round. Whether you're catching a sunrise over Mount Fuji or exploring neon-lit streets in the evening, time keeps a calm, steady beat throughout the country. When it comes to power, Japan uses Type A and Type B plugs, the same two flat-pin style often found in North America. The voltage, however, is 100 V, which is lower than many other countries. Most modern chargers, cameras, and laptops adapt automatically, but it's always worth checking your devices. A small travel adapter quickly becomes one of the handiest items in your bag. Connectivity in Japan is exceptional. Wi-Fi is widely available in hotels, cafes, airports, train stations, and even some convenience stores. Many travelers choose to rent a portable Wi-Fi device or purchase a local SIM or eSIM, allowing for seamless navigation, translation, and communication on the go. With reliable signal across cities, mountains, and even remote towns, staying connected is surprisingly easy. Japan's transport networks also integrate digital tools brilliantly. Train apps, QR codes, online maps, and real-time timetables make planning your days simple and stress-free. Even in rural villages with narrow streets and centuries-old houses, you'll rarely feel disconnected. As you travel, you'll find that Japan's approach to time, power, and connectivity reflects its broader personality: organized, thoughtful, and quietly efficient. It's a country that keeps you grounded while giving you the freedom to explore confidently. Accommodation options. Staying in Japan is more than just finding a place to sleep. It's a chance to step into the country's culture, traditions, and unique rhythms of hospitality. From centuries-old inns to sleek modern hotels, Japan offers travelers an extraordinary variety of experiences, each with its own charm and character. One of the most unforgettable experiences is spending a night in a ryokan, a traditional Japanese inn. Here, you trade shoes for soft slippers, sleep on futons laid over tatami mats, and savor multi-course kaiseki dinners that celebrate local flavors and seasonal ingredients. Ryokans aren't simply accommodations, they are cultural journeys, offering warmth, quiet, and a glimpse into Japan's timeless way of life. For a modern touch, business hotels are clean, efficient, and surprisingly comfortable. Rooms are compact but cleverly designed, equipped with everything you need, from kettles and air purifiers to pajamas neatly folded on the bed. They are ideal for travelers who plan to spend most of their time exploring. Japan is also home to the uniquely famous capsule hotels, designed for those who prefer minimalism or late-night convenience. Small, cozy, and often equipped with communal lounges and futuristic touches, they are a fun and affordable option, especially in major cities. For travelers wanting more space, serviced apartments and vacation rentals offer home-like comfort with kitchens, washing machines, and room to relax, perfect for longer stays or families. Nature lovers can enjoy mountain lodges, temple stays, and even onsen resorts, where mineral-rich hot spring baths melt away the fatigue of travel. Staying in a Buddhist temple, for example, allows you to join morning chants and enjoy simple vegetarian meals prepared with great care, a humbling and peaceful experience. Luxury travelers will find no shortage of high-end options either. Japan's top hotels and boutique properties offer impeccable service, elegant design, and breathtaking views, whether overlooking Tokyo's skyline or nestled in a quiet valley. No matter where you choose to stay, Japanese hospitality, known as omotenashi, ensures that every detail is considered, every welcome is genuine, and every guest is treated with thoughtful care. Food and water safety. Japan is one of the safest countries in the world when it comes to food and water, a place where quality, cleanliness, and care are woven into every meal. Whether you're sampling sushi at a tiny counter, slurping ramen in a bustling shop, or grabbing a quick snack from a convenience store, you can eat with confidence and curiosity. Japanese cuisine is prepared with remarkable attention to hygiene. Chefs train for years, not only to master flavor and technique but to maintain the highest standards of safety. Even in the busiest restaurants, kitchens operate with quiet precision, spotless surfaces, and a deep respect for ingredients. For adventurous eaters, raw foods like sushi, sashimi, and even raw egg over rice are handled with exceptional care. Fish is delivered daily, storage follows strict rules, and food preparation is deeply rooted in tradition. It's safe, fresh, and far better than most visitors have ever tasted. Street food is equally reliable. In places like Osaka, Kyoto, and Fukuoka, open grills and food stalls prepare dishes right in front of you, often with long queues of locals, the best sign of quality. Tap water in Japan is completely safe to drink. It's clean, refreshing, and available everywhere, from hotel sinks to public fountains. Many travelers refill bottles throughout the day without worry, saving money and reducing waste. Convenience stores, 7-Eleven, FamilyMart, and Lawson, offer surprisingly fresh meals, from bento boxes to onigiri rice balls. These are safe, affordable, and ideal for quick bites between adventures. If you have allergies or dietary restrictions, communication can be tricky, as ingredient labels are often in Japanese. Using translation apps or allergy cards helps ensure safe and comfortable choices. Food and water in Japan don't just nourish you, they invite you to slow down, trust the process, and enjoy flavors crafted with the utmost respect. Useful apps and resources. Traveling through Japan becomes even easier when you have the right tools at your fingertips. Although the country feels wonderfully intuitive, a few carefully chosen apps can help you navigate trains, translate menus, find hidden gems, and stay fully connected as you explore. One of the most valuable companions is Google Maps, which works beautifully across Japan. It gives real-time train routes, platform numbers, and exact car positions, a small detail that feels surprisingly magical when the train doors stop precisely where the app said they would. For translation on the go, Google Translate is indispensable. Its camera scan feature instantly converts Japanese text on menus, signs, and packaging into English, turning what could be confusing moments into fun discoveries. It also helps with conversations, allowing you and locals to communicate easily even with limited shared language. Train travel becomes effortless with Japan Travel by Navitime or Japan Official Travel app, which offer detailed route planning, timetables, station facilities, and even crowd-level indicators during busy periods. For travelers using IC cards, the Suica or Pasmo app, depending on region, makes topping up balance simple. To find great food, activities, or hidden neighborhood gems, Google Reviews, TripAdvisor, and Tabelog, Japan's popular restaurant ranking site, offer reliable guidance. For those staying in cities, Hyperdia, when available, or local rail apps provide clear schedules for even the most complex train lines. Booking accommodation is easy with Booking.com, Rakuten Travel, or Airbnb, while Japan weather apps keep you updated on changing conditions, handy during typhoon season or mountain hikes. These digital tools don't replace the joy of exploring Japan in person, but they smooth the journey, letting you focus on the beauty, flavor, and quiet wonder that make traveling in Japan unforgettable. Japan is a country that lingers with you long after you leave it. It stays in the quiet moments, the sound of temple bells drifting across a still morning, the soft rustle of bamboo in the wind, the glow of lanterns reflected on an old stone street. It stays in the taste of a perfect bowl of ramen, the smile of a shopkeeper who bowed as you walked in, the memory of a bullet train whispering through the landscape at impossible speed. Every journey through Japan becomes a collection of contrasts. Neon and nature, ancient shrines and modern skylines, electric cities and peaceful mountain trails. A place where tradition is honored, yet innovation is embraced with unmatched enthusiasm. Somehow, everything fits together, seamlessly, beautifully, and unlike anywhere else in the world. Whether you found yourself wandering Kyoto's hidden alleyways, gazing up at Mount Fuji, soaking in a hot spring after a long day, or simply people watching from a quiet cafe, Japan invites you to slow down and notice the details. The small gestures, the thoughtful design, the feeling that every corner, no matter how simple, has been crafted with intention. Traveling here isn't just about seeing places, it's about feeling them. It's about embracing the calm, the curiosity, the humility, and the kindness that define Japanese culture. It's about allowing yourself to be surprised by how deeply this country touches you. As we finish this journey, may Japan's spirit accompany you. May it encourage you to wander with openness, to appreciate quiet beauty, and to seek out experiences that inspire wonder. Japan doesn't just welcome travelers. It gently transforms them.